NSC Fan TV, Drew here with Scott. Long form rant after a 1-1 draw with New York Red Bulls, which really disappointed me.
So let's start with the disappointment with the fact that it was a tie. So we did tie for the most number of ties. So we tied the king. We're gonna let the king reign.
But you know what? Tying for the most there's an irony to it that I love. You know.
Yeah, I'm okay with. I guess I'm okay with that, but in some ways, it feels kind of like we're backing into the playoffs. Is that your disappointment?
Yeah, I mean, but I was saying earlier, and it may not have made sense at the moment, but that I would have been disappointed no matter the result, just because this is
about the Red Bulls in particular.
This is about the Red Bulls particularly.
Okay.
So let's start with the Red Bulls and then zoom out from there.
Okay.
But or maybe we'll be able to notice something when we look at it when it's like zoomed out, right? But
okay.
Or zoomed in rather. I think we just got so outclassed that first game, and that was really the only game, and you've said this, of the season where I truly felt like there was nothing we could do against them.
Yeah,
like Fabio,
totally helpless against them.
Fabio and Tolkien just dominating us, down the wing into the middle, and I really just didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
so yeah, that was the one game. Every other game, even the ones we lost, we were in them. We were in them, and we had a chance, and we had answers, and things looked like we were developing. That game we just had no answers, and so let's think about the three possibilities. Why would a win be still a disappointment? Because that seems weird to me.
No, for me a win still would have disappointed me.
Why is that?
Because I guess maybe it's how bad that game made me feel.
So let's recontextualize that possibility that we've developed. So that would be So I think that let's snatch the hot dogs from the fire here, right?
Okay. So
maybe So we've had some development as a team. Smith has come along and been able to say, "Look, it took me longer than 90 minutes to figure out how to have an answer for this." Now that's disappointing, but at least there's an answer. Right? Yeah. And I think that's a better way to even kind of contextualize the tie, which was. We wanted at least a point to be able to stay out of fourth because we don't want to go. Nobody wants to go through New England.
No, yeah.
We wanted at least a point to stay out of fourth, so we were okay with a tie. They were okay with a tie.
They needed at least.
They needed at least
points.
A point. Yeah, they needed at least 1 point.
They needed more than zero, so they couldn't
because
lose.
they had Columbus snapping at their heels there.
Right. They would have been eighth.
And so I think that. The game, the second half was a different looking game where it was like both teams looked like they were gonna be okay with the tie and find that acceptable. But they were like, yeah, but 3 points would be okay. But still that ragged last 10 didn't look like that.
No, the last 10 almost was like a new game in that sense. It was the same game, right? But it felt different. It felt like that was the moment where we said, we're both okay with the tie. But like you're saying, the 3 poinds would be great because then we'd know exactly what's going to happen. We would know what things would look like.
That's right.
But for them, it was even more pressing just because they would have been, had they let a goal in again and then, they lost, then they wouldn't be in the playoffs.
They wouldn't.
They'd be eighth.
That's exactly it. So, they needed to play a little bit more front-footed. We did,
we brought Dax on, though.
We brought
Dax on, though.
So let's now talk about, so we kind of see certainly the loss would have been disappointing. But we understand how the tie is disappointing.
I think the win would have been disappointing. I'm just so mad about how that game went. That
it was really disappointing.
I would have thought, but
it was really dispiriting.
Your answer helps, though. My point would have been, had you not made that point, that if we had won this, but yet we just were so crushingly defeated before, what the hell is happening? But like you said, maybe there's a developmental story.
Yeah, what's the difference? And I think time's the difference. Time's the difference.
Because we moved away. We talked about this the other day, but Gary Smith truly at this point has moved away from 4-4-2.
And I don't think that in our last one, I don't think we completely talked that through. So let's really talk about the development in terms of Smith's game, just generally, just in terms of managing that game, managing what things look like. So first off, no longer the dogma of 4-4-2.
Wenger would be disappointed, but mathematically proven. But here's the thing. I think here's why it's good is because it fits better with his play style to actually not run a 4-4-2, ironically.
Ooh, interesting.
The reason why is because he seems to build from the back going forward, right, in terms of trying to distribute the ball, trying to keep things locked down. And 4-4-2 is good for that. The only issue is that when the two wingbacks are Lovitz and Johnston, they really are more.
You need them wider.
You need them wider, but you also need them going down the pitch, and sending crosses in. And I think that can happen. Like I think Tottenham kind of does it.
Yeah.
Where they send the wingers down, even with a 4-4-2 situation.
It's true.
But it ends up stretching the back line a little bit too much. And I think that the 3 flat across the back, well, this was considered 5, but really, let's be honest, it's 3. The 2 drop back, but it ends up being that they drop back more often than not.
So it's either a 5-3-2 or it's a 3-5-2 my best one 3-3-4.
That's the ideal situation. A 3-3-4. You don't see that every day.
You don't see that every day, but we kind of do. I mean, like you see Johnston or Lovitz like up with the forwards. I really like seeing that.
I love seeing that. I just think. But also when Lovitz is actually on the left wing and it's the 4 going forward because then he can just send those killer crosses in.
So and I'm going to pause. I think that we've got a lot of praise for Gary Smith in terms of there's really only been one game where we felt like we were outclassed, and it looks like he fixed it against that team. Consistently good defense, one of the least number of goals in the league. And a higher output offense than what we'd seen last season. For a team that's sort of vaunted for our defense, we scored a lot of goals.
Mukhtar just banged. Mukhtar, Sapong, they were banging them.
They were banging goals.
Yeah.
Sapong kind of did get a little cooler later in the season, but still a significant contributor. I wanted to just pause before because there's one other player that I feel like doesn't get enough shout-outs in terms of the quality of his game and the sort of the distance that he's traveled between where we started at the beginning of the season and where he is now. That's Alistair Johnston. That guy works so hard and collects so many balls, and he's become a much more reliable defender. A shout out to Alistair Johnston just in terms of where his game is now and the amount of just how much he contributes over the course of a game on both the offensive side and in the midfield and as an extra defender.
People are talking about him though. Like for Canada.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's right.
Yeah, no, he's a star.
He's legit. Legit. I mean, like I can't wait to watch him against Mexico. That's going to be great.
Coming soon.
That's coming soon.
Yeah. Then us against them, but
then us against Mexico. Hey,
yeah.
More on that later.
Yeah.
So we've talked. One other thing is that I wanted to talk about just before things got started was that no Romney.
No Romney, Iron Man.
The Iron Man run comes to an end.
That and it's disappointing because it would have been at least we could have said the regular season he played every minute.
Right. For both seasons. For 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Playing every game for every minute of this team being an MLS team until the Red Bulls game.
Did you see an explanation?
I haven't seen any explanation.
I haven't seen any explanation. So, he wasn't even on the bench.
So if anyone's got an explanation, we'd love it in the comments.
Drop it in the comments because I've seen nothing. He wasn't even on the bench.
Yeah, I went to
He wasn't even on the bench.
I went to the Vanderbilt health report for this. It was like, has he got a cold? Did he roll his ankle? What happened? And no reports on Romney. So would be keen to find out what happened. Again, hoping the best for him. Want to see more of him.
Want to see him healthy and fit for the playoffs.
That's for sure. And so sad to see the run of the Iron Man come to an end there.
But. Maybe like a phoenix will rise from the ashes. Even though it's just one game being missed, it feels like it was just the destruction of everything. But
He'll come back.
It's okay.
We'll see more of him. We'll see more of him, I hope.
I think so. I don't know because I don't know what happened, but that's the worrisome part.
Well, you'd think that if it was something catastrophic, it would end up in the health report.
That we'd see something.
So my best hypothesis is that he didn't have a good game against Orlando. He had the own goal, and then he had the sort of the error. So I wonder if Smith was just like, look, take a game off. Get your head straight. That's possible, but it seems to me that like with a player like that, like I could imagine with a sort of a second stringer, he has a bad game. You're just like, look, you have to earn your way back in.
Yeah, but with someone who's consistently a first-rate starting 11 player,
let him work it out.
That is just weird.
Let him work it out.
That, yeah. I wonder if I don't know. It's just he was good. He was doing so well.
Yeah.
And that little flub up with Orlando was the only thing I could think of.
That's the only criticism I could ever think of any time that I've ever seen with his game. Well, I take it back. He had one other sort of very soft header that put us in jeopardy in a previous game. But
I don't remember that.
I had so little to criticize about his game and so much to praise about it.
Oh wait, I remember that. That's right.
He was trying to drop it to Zimmerman, but it ended up being really soft, and then it kind of got jumped on. And I'm not remembering who it was against.
I forgot who it was against, but I do remember now. Yeah, that's so. But otherwise, though, solid defending. I mean, he knows when to commit, knows when to stick to his man.
Why can't? So if it really was just that he had a bad game against Orlando, it seems to me that you'll let a player like that work it out on the field.
That's a poor reason to take someone off. You know?
So, but that's us. That's us Monday morning, or in this case, Tuesday afternoon. Tuesday afternoon quarterbacking. So I have a handful of things that I wrote down that you said. We wanted to praise Miller's strong game.
I thought Miller was great in that game.
He's really developing. I think that Miller and Maher have really developed into really A-team level defenders.
I think that's right. I mean, this is no criticism on Moyle's part, because I don't think this is his role, right? But they really know when to commit and when not to.
I'll agree with you.
And they're pretty good at managing the space between them too.
Yeah.
Especially considering that Zimmerman's often not there. And right, we had Ani Baba there for a while, and that meant that we were pretty damn sure things were secure back there.
Correct.
Without Zimmerman, after set pieces, they really had to step up in those critical counterattack moments.
And we had there was often Zimmerman and Romney up in those cases. Either Romney with
big throw, or Zimmerman
or those two big foreheads in there, right? And so so we did regularly have to rely on those on our other center backs, and sometimes on our defensive midfielders. But I think that those two have done a fantastic job. I think really stepping in and especially with Maher. I mean, making that transition kind of early in the season to Nashville. Really made himself part of the team.
I think that's right, and I think it's well integrated too. That's the thing, because sometimes it's one thing to have a good player. It's like, oh yeah, he's really good and he can do his thing, but he's like a one-man show. These players are integrated,
part of the system.
Like this is part of a concrete whole that just works. I mean. And I think we saw it that game. Miller was really solid. He's made a few crucial tackles to stop stuff.
I think that he was having a really, really good game.
He was having a really good game. I mean, he was there 47, I think. Well, he was like barreling through, and Miller just effortlessly just.
Zing.
Well, you guys take the corner. Let's get our defenders back.
We get everyone back. That's good.
Yeah. No, Miller was great that game.
So yeah, I mean, it was 1 minute of not so great defense.
Well, the first, like I was saying, everyone was fumbling with the popcorn, the beer, the drinks, and
that was
Fabio was studying the blade. I mean, he just chopped us down.
He did. Right. So I saw plenty of replays now. So
and it was clinical too. The way he stretched Zimmerman, I think it was Zimmerman, right? He stretched Zimmerman, really just silky first touch. And then just got it on his right, and then it was right over. And the thing is, it's not even that Jack went the wrong way, or Joe said Jack. Joe. Just thinking about Maher, but it's not even that Joe went the wrong way. He went the right way. He just put it right over where he dove. It was just like, man, that was clinical.
It's a good touch, and he's a good forward. I mean, there's not a. It's not an accident that he starts for them.
No, he's good.
He's a good forward. So I got some other. So we spent a lot of time being afraid of Fabio after that first goal. So that was the other thing. I was sitting down and just taking notes as you were talking during the game. So it's like your question, because we did spend a lot of time with at least one of the other wingbacks covering for one of our center backs in the game, because we were putting two on Fabio pretty regularly. And we were not leaving him alone.
We couldn't, right? But the only problem is when that's going on, that stretches everyone. Because now you've got, oh, wow, they're going to mark him with two. Perfect.
I'm
just going to go in all the space that you left.
That's exactly it.
Right? So that's what players like, that's why Virgil van Dijk's such a good defender, because you can just put him on one guy and it's locked up for good.
And I think that...
Go ahead.
I think that Romney does play that role. It's just that I think that we were just being extra cautious in this case, because he did burn us.
He burned us bad. I mean, at first I thought Zimmerman was going to be on him, but it ended up being
a kind of a team effort. So good, and so good team defense on Fabio after the first minute.
It's just that we were like, yeah, let's get started, guys, and then
we're gonna learn our lesson.
But that speaks to something I wanted to mention about the Orlando situation, because That's coming up on the 23rd, and
Daryl DK is going to be...
Daryl DK is the big concern, but literally, because
he's a big concerning player.
But also, they're the one team that may have our number, right?
Dude, they have our goat, man. They just know how to get us,
when we're not ready to pounce. And I feel like this is an extension of that first minute Fabio goal.
Yes.
We weren't ready, just like we aren't on a lot of set pieces.
And they
took advantage of that fact.
They do it to us.
We're like when you're in the winter and you start your car up and it's like, you know, we're a slow start kind of team. Yeah. You know, we let them get ahead. I'm not waking up.
I haven't had my coffee yet.
We play from behind, you know, and it's like,
and
that's why you're saying we were like crawling. What'd you say, backing into the playoffs?
Yeah,
because we're the. Yeah. And then we get going, but
right. Well, I mean, you think about, like, we had a lot of ties. We had the loss. We had the loss at Philly. And we had the win away at Cincinnati. But then a lot of ties. And again, that's kind of our MO. But on the other hand, ties aren't going to do it in the playoffs.
Ties don't do it in the playoffs.
And again, you know, we get the extra time, and there are plenty of times where it's like, well, we got a tie, but like we really were creating a lot of chances. But this is, in some ways, this is concerning. On the other hand, I think that this is a team that can kind of rope-a-dope a lot of other teams.
I think that's right. Yeah.
We showed that we were able to make it through in extra time in the playoffs. We played 2 games in the playoffs last year. One we were able to go through with, the Toronto game. We did get eliminated by Columbus in extra time. But again, that's not bad. That's not like
when Zardes is running at you. I want to say like
Zardes is alive.
Yeah,
again, it took him about 110 minutes, but he then decided
he's that kind of player though. He's the you know.
So you have concern. So again, I think that one of our previous guests had talked about this, and I think that it was Reed. And I thought that there was some insight to what Reed said, which was we either are out in the first round or we win the cup. Now,
very bold of him.
Very bold prediction, Reed. But I think that there's something to this, because I think that of any of the teams that are really on the docket for us to play, it's Orlando that's the one that really causes me the most trepidation.
I think that's right. Our record against most teams is
positive.
Honestly squeaky clean,
except with the exception of the Red Bulls.
Red Bulls
ate our lunch.
But then Orlando Red Bulls eating our lunch and Orlando having our number.
Yeah,
those are the two that I'm honestly, let's knock on every kind of wood possible. I'm not that worried about Revolution. You know,
oh my God!
I'm really not. Of all the teams,
you and Reed, man. We're positive against them. Four out of 6 points against them.
I think.
We beat them at home. We beat them here, and then we tied them away.
Yeah.
But we will have to, if we play them, we will have to play them away.
We will have to play them away. That's the concern, is the away part.
The away part. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not going to retract my statement, but I'm going to qualify it.
But I think that we match. I think that we do match up well with them.
Yeah,
I think we do match up well with them. But
I think
they're a good team. I mean,
they're good at
maybe
Matt for me, I guess it comes down to Matt Turner, and I'll put it this way.
I think Gil and Bo are just awesome.
Okay, that's true too.
Gil and Bo are terrifying.
But if MLS are in form, if Mukhtar, Leal, Sapong are in form, they can get past Turner. Then
that's a good trio.
I can see them breaking Turner down.
Okay, I don't disagree with that. I just my concern is that Gil and Bo have exactly the same kind of chemistry.
That's right.
They look at us and they're like, well, you know what? They've got a good defense.
But you know what? We're just gonna muscle past. Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about a couple of the playoff possibilities. We've talked about concerns with Orlando. I guess the last thing that I kind of wanted to talk about was something that I was feeling a lot of anxiety about in the second half, which was watching Annabelle Godoy playing on a yellow and then just getting in tangle after tangle after tangle.
He almost got in a fight with Duncan.
Yeah, exactly.
Not our Duncan.
Not our Duncan.
Yeah.
But yeah, it gets in a tangle with their 6, and continues to play 90.
That made no sense.
So that just looked very risky to me. It looked risky to me in terms of his judgment as a player, and we had been singing a lot of praises of Gary Smith.
of Gary Smith's decision making, because it would have.
But that just looked very frightening to me.
It did, especially him playing the position he was in.
Yeah, given where he was and
given their forwards.
Now again, maybe once McCarty came in, he got to be a little bit more free.
But before that, he was
having to do the dig. He had to be dig.
Going back and I'm digging things out.
He had to be digger. And
that's where you get fouls. That's where you pick up.
That's where you pick up the yellow. That's where he picked up his yellow.
That's where you picked up the card. That's where you would have picked up another one. You know.
Yeah. So I think that chest to chest thing with their playing Duncan number 6. That just looked like I saw that go down. I was like, both teams are going to be playing with 10. This might be a nightmare. Might be.
It was up to the ref's discretion on that.
Yeah.
It really was. Yeah. That came down to the ref being God for just a little bit of time.
Yeah, that's right.
And God was merciful.
He was merciful. Finally.
It took him a while.
So there's one other thing that we were talking about, and it was about the after game.
Oh.
Let's talk about the fact that folks don't stick around and hold up a scarf for the anthem.
You know what?
You
gotta stay.
Stick around.
You're here for the whole 90 and some.
You're here for the thing.
You're here for the thing.
You're here for this thing.
Let's join together.
Let's do this thing.
Let's do proper NSC.
That's right. Proper NSC is that you sing the song, and that there's something touching about that. It's about this experience and about this environment. And, I get it, we're in the Titan Stadium and it feels weird.
And then we want to go home, we want to, but let's be honest, you aren't going to get past the traffic if you're in the back of the line going up.
Yeah.
You may as well.
Stick around and sing the song.
You may as well stick around.
Yeah, you're racing these people out. And moreover, it's like, it's Sunday, it's like 4 o'clock. It's like 4:40 on a Sunday. Like, what are you hurrying home for?
Yeah.
You're probably it's going to be already dark. Yeah, that's exactly it. And so I don't get it. It was like, look, you went for this. You went for all of this. You went for
the whole experience. This is the last home game.
Yeah,
the last home game of the regular season. Right. This is, it did make sense.
We went for all of this. So we're there. We wanted to see, and so we hold up, show the colors, sing the song.
Get in there, yeah. It's what you do.
And people.
It's force of custom too, right? Let's create this kind of environment where we're all together. We're all here to partake in this thing.
That's right.
Let's get into it. Let's go all the way. And the players are on the pitch still after.
They're still there
with their kids.
They appreciate it.
You've got Joe Willis holding a baby.
Joe Willis holding a baby.
Wouldn't they like to see you holding it up?
Hold a scarf. Show the colors.
Show the colors.
And it gets to be this only if we do this.
It's not just going to make itself.
Because the Liverpool's You'll Never Walk Alone, I think, is our best analogy with I'll Never Give Up on You. I think that's the analogy. And it's the powerful song it is. Not because of the fact that it's a great song. You'll Never Walk Alone is actually not that great a song. It's got weird syncopation or weird change in the middle. It's not that great a song. But whenever you've got 50,000 Liverpudlians holding those red scarves up and singing and pausing and watching.
It's an emotional moment.
See it in their faces.
Yeah.
We can do that. We can do that here. All it takes is us doing it.
And we're going to take, hopefully, the kind of energy that we've got here, which I think is generally good, to the new stadium.
To that new stadium. So I want us to be in good take good habits into the new stadium as opposed to create it. But the first step of so much of life is showing up. And if you're leaving early, you're not doing that.
You're not,
You came to see a soccer game. So many people leaving. We're leaving with scarves.
Why'd
you buy the scarf? He's like, you're not that cold.
It wasn't bad. The sun was on you for a good 40 minutes.
You're not that cold.
Hold the up.
Bring your colors up.
Yeah.
Okay. That was me saying I'm going to say it again. I might even have we might even do this rant. We might even just have a rant just about this again.
Just about the colors and putting them up. All right. Great.
We done?
I'm done.
I think I'm done.
The regular season's done.
Regular season's done. On to the playoffs.
NSC Fan TV.
Great. Okay, you got to go.
Okay, I got to go.